4,000 and the rest of your left up the empty wall. And I'm going to title this video, They Shall Come In Like a Flood. And this is a response to, she had a dream about soldiers. And I can't see the rest of it. Let me see. It doesn't say it right here, but it says, I guess, tyrannical, whatever. Put up by Aria Kayalba. So this is video. So this is a response to that same video. It says, this woman has a dream, vision of the coming terrors. Does it measure up to future prophecy? Of course it is. In the book of Joel 2 and Acts 2, it speaks about how men, women, young men, old men will have dreams. And that includes even people of the other nations. They're going to have visions too. So I'm just going to let this part play. You can watch the rest of this video. Now, I was going to make a video on this last night, but I was getting a little sleepy. So the spirit stayed on me. So I'm just going to let this play, and then I'm going to give you some scriptures. I'm going to try not to make this long. So listen up and watch. Oh, and before I go on, Bishop Nathaniel of the IUIC, the leader of the IUIC, the bishop, we're just going to call him the bishop. When I say the bishop, you know what I'm talking about. The bishop. I did a video featuring him. In the middle of it, I did one half of the video, I did one subject, and then it was a 2-hour and change video. You can go about an hour and 10 minutes in or so. Then I started going into him, the class that he did Saturday night, which we listened to when we're coming back from camp. And he was going into Revelation chapter 13, which he got some part of the chapter right, but the major parts he got wrong. About the image. Oh, the image is a picture Caesar Borgia. It's a white Christ. And then it went into, the reader read from the 14th verse, 15, then the 16th verse, and he said it was sin. And he said something. He said a couple other things. Oh, he went to Job 10 and 14 and Revelation 17 and 4. Which I did videos on in the past, and he used those precepts to back up what Revelation 13 and 16 says, in which these two scriptures, Job and Revelation 17, have absolutely nothing to do with Revelation chapter 13 and 16. And he showed a clip from a video, a documentary, dealing with central bank digital currency, CBDCs. And he said a couple of years ago they might throw a chip in there. And Apostle Ramlab always brings that up. And I'm looking at him, you know, saying what he got to say. And then he said, "Oh, by the way, the MARK is sin. It's sin." And what he said was, because we've been and I keep bringing it up because this is the most important prophecy in the scriptures before the destruction and deliverance. This is the most important. This prophecy of the MOTB, I can't stress the importance of that prophecy, because it's going to affect the whole planet Earth. The peoples of the planet Earth. So he said, because we said this, They made videos saying that, oh, the MOT, the mark is sin, and all of its forms, whether it be political or religious. So our response to that was going back a year, 2 years, 3 years, or whatever. So you're saying that the mark of the beast, is sin. So you guys claim you don't sin because you're constantly telling the people keep the law, keep the laws. So how are you able to buy and sell? How were you able to go to the store? How the different the headquarters in New York and the different states and the countries, they have to pay either rent, or let's say we own it. Okay, well, guess what? You got to pay property tax, or you got to pay something. The lights, you got to pay for the lights. You got to pay the electric company, the Con Ed. When you leave, you're not gonna fly back to your houses like Superman. You're gonna hop into cars, your chariots, and you need to put gas in the chariots. And when the car breaks down, you need money for that. You need money for gas. You go to the supermarket and you buy things so you can have food in the house. Clothes, you need some new clothes. You need a TV set. Oh, you need video equipment. You got to get that 4K, and that's money. So how are you able to buy, more so buy than sell? Because we're more consumers than, we consume more so than sell. Exchange of money or things. So how are you able? You guys are saying that the mark of the beast is sin, which I assume is talking about the sin of the scriptures, right? So how are you guys able to, you men and women, able to buy and sell if you're not sinning? So they had to kind of add to it. They said, well, Bishop Nathaniel said sin. That's a new one. Sin. He said sin. You can't got to sin. This is sin, but then you got to sin. So Bishop Kanai said you can be sinning right now, but there's going to be a time where this beast is going to force you to sin. But wait a minute, why is he going to force you to sin when you're sinning already? So you're going to sin up until the point, let me get this straight. You're going to sin up until the point until this man says you have to sin in order to buy and sell. And then you're going to stop. Then you know what? No, this man can't tell me what to do. I'm going to stop sinning. That doesn't make sense. When you really look, when you have a working brain and the Most High open up your spirit to see these things, give you the spiritual eye salve, you can see right through it and you laugh at it. The way these guys constantly changing. Because the question, we kept throwing that at them. Said, wait a minute, you guys say you're not sinning. So how are you able to, and you're telling the people not to sin. If you're telling the people not to sin and they listen to you, they can't buy, they're going to die. They can't eat, they can't get in the car, they can't get in the house, they're going to be homeless. So they had to come with that slick stuff. The mark is going to be manifested when the government says from now on, you have to sin in order to buy or sell. You go to BJ's, they already put it in play, whether it's Kamala or Trump. Either way, it doesn't matter who becomes president because they're puppets. Trump is a little guy. He's a little guy. He answers to people above him. He's a puppet. He's a different kind of puppet. He's a Republican puppet. and Kamala is a Democratic puppet. They're puppets, and American people don't know that. They think that that's the highest uh, political position in the land. They don't understand. They don't understand these the elite powers that you don't even know about. They're just stupid. They're just dumbfounded, stupid, ignorant, basic, dullards, whatever you want to call them. Idiots. Idiot just means you don't know. You don't know what's really going on. You don't know how the money system works. You get mad at inflation. You don't understand the origins of this inflationary time that we're going through. A lot of you lined up for the jump shot. And a lot of you died too and got sick. You know? This truth wakes you up to you see everything, man. You look at everything. Scriptures speak about being circumspect. You know, like Spider-Man has a spidey sense. So anyway, they're saying that there's going to come a time where the government is going to tell you you can't buy and sell until you sin. And we're going to have monitors making sure you sin every time you buy something. And you got to sin every day. If you don't buy and sell, you don't got to sin. But if you go to BJ's or Costco's or any like supermarket, Kroger's or Stop and Shop or you know, there's different. You ain't got A&P and you know A&P, Atlantic and Pacific. Remember that A&P? And you had whatever. A lot of those supermarkets are out of business. They got new ones now. You got Whole Foods. You can't buy nothing from. If you decide to buy something in Whole Foods, you're gonna have to utilize your, you know, the MOTB, which is sin. You're gonna have to sin. You're gonna have to smack some woman's ass that's married to a man, commit adultery, steal something. You got to see a little kid and steal his lollipop. And then when you go to the store and they say, "What sin did you commit?" He said, "I stole a little kid's lollipop." See, so when you use your brain, you can see that shit is stupid. Stupid. And how can these men, because the men of IUIC, the teachers, they're intelligent guys. How you allow this man to pull the wool over your eyes? And what in the hell are you going to do when it actually comes to pass where you got to take it? What the hell are you going to do? Hey, Bishop Nathaniel knows that what we've been saying is the truth, just like he came to the realization that Cornelius was an Israelite. Remember, he said, we got to kick him out because they saying that Cornelius is an Israelite. We know that he's an Edomite. And shortly thereafter, they started teaching that Cornelius is an Israelite. Why? Because they went back into it and they really searched and studied, and then they finally saw it. See, Bishop Nate is full of pride. He's like, got to be the proudest Israelite, proud in a negative way. Pride go before, you know what the scriptures say about pride going before falling a haughty spirit. He has a haughty spirit. And he knows that the MOTB is a micro C-hip. He knows that. It's a microchip. He knows that. Whether he did a backdoor deal or whatever, you know, we can only speculate. But he knows it. But now the question is whether those people that follow him know it. I don't know. But I know he knows. He knows that he knows that GMS is correct. And maybe it's pride that's saying I'm not going to say it, because then they're going to say, well, wait a minute, GMS was always correct. Maybe we should go with GMS. Okay. So anyway, that's a different subject, but I had to say that. You look, you men and GMS, all of you know that he knows. The way he keeps changing it. oh, you can sin now, but the government is going to tell you got to sin, so that's when you stop sinning. And then he says, you got them pretty little babies, they got to eat too. Well, that's General Yohanan said that to priest, the priest of Om, priest Hakar, because priest Hakar said he spoke to General Yohanan years ago. This is maybe over 10 years ago. And he asked him, do you believe in the microchip being a mark of the beast? And he said that General Yohanan said, look, you going to take it? And Yohanan said that he going to take it. And he said, because you got to eat and your kids got to eat. This is what Hakar said. He said in the video, we talking about over 10 years ago, maybe 13, 14 years ago, something like that. But anyway, let me go into this subject, and I'm going to try not to go long. I was a little long-winded yesterday, but I kind of covered two topics. So this is a woman that had a dream, and you have many Israelites and even heathens, or what appear to be heathens, that they having a lot of dreams. A lot of people are having dreams about UFOs, about the Lord coming back, about 666, about you know what I might do? I might put in YouTube search engine dreams about the mark of the beast. But let's just listen and hear. This is a little snippet. So watch this whole video.
So, in a dream, I was right here in my house, and I had my cousins over here, my brothers and sisters was over here for some reason, and we was outside in the back on my deck, and out of nowhere it was like military everywhere. They was in this. I try to make sure I pay attention to everything, every detail. So I'm just paying attention, zooming in, and they had on all black. I was like, I ain't never seen military with all black.
Yeah, those are the troops of the New World Order coming to establish, or at least try to.
They was in this. I try to make sure I pay attention to everything, every detail. So I'm just paying attention, zooming in, and they had on all black. I was like, I ain't never seen military with all black.
Yeah, those are the troops of the New World Order coming to establish, or at least try to establish, the New World Order. This is a time of martial law. This is a time where the government takes over the people, totally takes over the people. This is a time of detention centers and concentration camps, and all of that stuff is in the Bible. Okay, when the enemy shall come in as a flood. Okay, the enemy is coming in as a flood. Let's read that. During the fall of Jerusalem, 67 AD to 74 AD, Esau did the same thing. So this is just history repeating itself. Esau is going to come in as a flood. I think it's somewhere in the Psalms. As a flood. No, it didn't come up. When the enemy and the enemy enemy. Okay, no, it's Isaiah 59. Here it is right here. Isaiah 59 and 19. So shall they fear the name of the Lord. See? So what's the name of the Lord? It ain't God. It's Yahweh. Okay? You see the Lord there all in capital letters? In the Hebrew, the word there is Yahweh. So shall they fear the name of the Lord. Why? Because they're going to see all that terror. Things going crazy. Absolutely ape shit. So we're going to fear the name of the Lord in that day.
Which is the time of Jacob's trouble. Which Bishop Nate said there's no time. It's not going to be a time of Jacob's trouble. It's in the scriptures. It's in Jeremiah 30 and 7. It actually says that, the time of Jacob's trouble. There's other parts in scripture where it says a time of trouble, a time of trouble. It's also mentioned in Daniel chapter 12, a time of trouble. So the dream that the sister had, she was dreaming about the time of Jacob's trouble.
Yahweh and Yahushua. We're going to call upon those names for deliverance and protection. So shall they fear the name of the Lord from the west. Where are we at? We're in the west, the western hemisphere. Like I told you, the main stage of terror is going to take place here in America. Babylon the Great.
And the focus of the gospel should be in the west. Acts, I always go to Acts 1. You can start at 6 on down, around an 8, 9 verse. Said you shall prophesy or teach in Judea, Jerusalem, Samaria, and to the uttermost part of the earth. The uttermost part, the other side of the earth, they were in the east at the time. The other side of the earth is the west, which is America. You got Canada, the U.S., Central and South America. Right smack dab in the middle of Canada and Central and South America is America, the USA. That's where the gospel came out of. That's where the focus is. We don't got to go all around the world trying to wake up everybody. There's 8 billion plus people around the world. If you had 10 million people, you couldn't reach almost 9 billion people. It's humanly impossible.
From the west, and his glory from the rising of the sun. That's the east. That's where this knowledge really comes from. It comes from the east, and we're going back to the east. That's the land of Israel. And his glory from the rising of the sun. When the enemy shall come in like a flood. That's what that woman was talking about. The troops all dressed all in black. That's the enemy, Esau, coming to establish their new world order. The devil coming down with great wrath, knowing that he have but a short time. There you go. When the enemy shall come in like a flood, the Spirit of the Lord shall lift up a standard against him. Right. The Heavenly Father going to give his men in that day spiritual power. Because we're going to need it, man. Because Esau, they're going to pull out all the stops. They got robot dogs. They got all kind of drones. They got all kind of different types of weapons.
If you notice, these Christians are not teaching that. They're not teaching about the coming destruction. None of these so-called black churches, they don't even teach about the end of the world. They don't teach about the MOTB, the mark of the beast. They don't even mention anything about the Antichrist, which there's no such thing as one Antichrist. These so-called black churches, which are a joke, buffoonery in its highest form or lowest form, depending on where you're looking at it from. The black church, especially them Baptists, they're stupid as dumb as a rock. They have no idea. You want to deal with somebody that's a Baptist, a Christian period. Christians don't know prophecy anyway. Vocab Malone, he attempted to break down some, Revelation 13, and I think he went to maybe Daniel 7 and Daniel 2, and he totally botched it up. He doesn't understand, the spirit. That shows you that the Most High, Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua, is not dealing with a Vocab Malone. The Vocab Malone was sent, we believe, by others above him, sent to kind of, muddy the waters of Israelites. But he's one man. He had this shield squad. We haven't seen him. They all doing their thing. He coming back by himself. He gonna stress out and he gonna wind up stroking out, man. And he's a persona non grata. That's why I said call the cops on him. And call the cops on any Christian. If a Christian come up, identify him as you a Christian. And when they start asking questions, if they ask legit questions, you answer them. If they come with some stupidity, then you say, look, we're not here to debate, we're not here to discuss, we're not here to have a back and forth. We're here to lecture and dictate to you. That's what we're here for. To lecture and dictate to you. It's not a two-way street. So if you want to have a discussion, go on down the street. And then if you stick around, we'll call the cops on you for harassment. Hey, you should see me when the Jehovah Witness, they don't come to my house no more because I used to curse them out. The last time a guy came, I said, I don't want to hear that bullshit. And then he walked down to my neighbor's. I said, don't ring her bell either. That's my neighbor. She don't want to hear your bullshit either. And I got out the house. I said, get your ass out of the fucking building, man. I said, get out of here. And he left. He hopped in the elevator and he left. I said, don't come back here no more. And those Jehovah Witnesses that I dealt with, they're all fucked up and dead. Most of them dropped dead. Through the years. Oh, what you call it? Dropped dead. Oh, his daughter dropped dead. You don't even see him no more.
To brandish in that day. Okay, remember his blessing is the sword. Esau's blessing is the sword. Genesis 27:40. So Esau going to come in like a madman. He's going to bring out his robots. You got super soldiers.
He did that during the Boston Marathon, where that was the declared martial law. You had troops walking down streets, going into everybody's houses. And they would bang on the doors, and they said, we're coming in here. And look, the governor didn't do anything about it. Lawyers didn't do anything about it. That was martial law. They had no right to just go into people's houses. But you can't do that during martial law. So they declared martial law, but nobody understands the law. Except a lawyer, and you have to specialize in constitutional law. You just can't be a contractual, a sports lawyer, a lawyer that deals with contracts, a tax lawyer, medical law, and then you got constitutional lawyers. They understand that. These lawyers don't know as much as you think they know. You got those trial lawyers, they're not constitutional lawyers. You got certain lawyers that specialize in the Constitution, and none of them jumped up and said, well, this is unconstitutional, we got to sue the government. And there's in the Constitution goes against a standing army. No such thing as a standing army. An army is supposed to be formed out of the organized militia and the unorganized militia. That's why you have a draft. That's why you have people that volunteer. And when you have a war, an army stands for 2 years. Then it gets a victory tax. Then after the war is over, then they disband the army. People go back to their lives, and you no longer tax them. If y'all knew what the hell was really going on, how the system works, because you don't, and I know you don't because you would have said something, there would be total chaos in this country. Y'all don't know y'all state, they did a good job at them damn public schools, man.
You got robot dogs. Oh, forget about it. It's going to be crazy out here. Okay, and the only thing that's going to be able to deliver us is the divine protection of Yahweh Bar Shem Yahushai via the angels. Okay? How's it go? He shall give his angels charge against thee charge over thee. Salakia, he shall give his angels charge over thee to take care of us. That's Psalm 91.
Yeah, I was like, I ain't never seen military with all black. They had on all black. They had like, it was so much stuff going on, and it was like, give me your ID, give me your ID. They was like asking for our IDs to verify. Like, I don't know why, but it was just like, give me your ID, and I'm like,
to verify you're now members of this New World Order. If you can't produce the right kind of papers, then you must be a terrorist. You must be an enemy. You're to be eliminated immediately. And it's in those days they're gonna give the ultimate ID, which is that chip. Is in those days you're gonna have certain Israelites, all right, rounded up and brought to detention centers, like we've always been telling you, concentration camps,
and put to death. Some of the elect will be put to death. They're gonna be tested that way.
Remember years ago when we were teaching that back in 2010, 2011, 2012, you had other Israelite groups calling us conspiracy theorists. They ain't saying that shit now because they're seeing it as a great possibility. Everything we've been saying since 2010, 11, 12. They're now seeing it. And we've been teaching this stuff since we came on YouTube because we saw it way back in the mid-1990s. That's when we learned about the Illuminati. When I say we, beginning of Elder Pastor down, you know, the top leadership and the bishops of Connecticut. We've been knowing about this stuff since the mid-1990s, going into the early 2000s. So now we see it coming into fruition. Okay, the detention centers, the concentration camps, all of that stuff, man. So what this woman is talking about, that's when those are going to be implemented in those times, and we're fast approaching it. Let's hear some more.
That's stupid. So next thing you know, the train was going really fast, and it came off the track, and it's just stuff like right behind my house is a train track. So the train fell off, and all this stuff, material came out or whatever, and next thing you know, I can feel the emotions of the people. I can feel the cry.
Yeah, train derailments. Okay, that was part of the plans of the New World Order to bring that chaos. It all adds up to chaos, because out of chaos comes what? Order. And that is the motto of the New World Order. Ordo ab chaos, which is order through chaos. The bigger the chaos, the bigger the order. Okay, also there was another saying.
Another word for order out of chaos is a reset. So when they use the word reset, that's another way of saying order. That's code for order. Bring chaos. In order for when you bring chaos, you're going to need order. You need to put things back in order.
When you watch, there's a video called America Under Siege. Y'all should check that out. If I find it, I'll put the link in the description box or the comment section.
Yeah, you can find it on Odyssey and I believe Rumble. I believe I put the video Under Siege, America Under Siege, which is Linda Thompson, which she died of cancer, but they probably took her ass out. And she was former military. And she saw what was going on. She said, I ain't with this.
Now, this is a video we watched way back in the late 1990s. It's by Linda Thompson. And she goes into all the different scenarios that's going to happen during those times. The same times that woman is talking about. America Under Siege. She talks about the detention centers, the concentration camps. Now, one thing she said, the slogan of the New World Order will be expect no mercy. Expect no mercy. So that lines up right with the prophecy. The devil coming down with great wrath, knowing he have but a short time. A short time for him to do what? To enjoy his New World Order, which is his birthright. He's trying to get back his birthright.
And part of his New World Order, a big part of it, is to put you back in slavery, chip all of you. You become slaves under them. And if you got a problem with them, they turn your chip off, provided that you take the chip. But take the chip. If you take the chip, that is the mark of the beast. It's not sin in all of its forms, whether political or religious. As I said, Bishop Nathaniel knows that the mark of the beast is the microchip. Either he's not saying it because he's full of pride. That would be an admission, a tacit admission. Tacit admission, look that word up, tacit, that GMS has the truth, or he got the same treatment that Tazadakia got. And what happened to Tazadakia? Mosai took him out on April Fool's Day, so the joke was on him.
Okay, so it's all coming together, man. It's all coming together.
And the hurt and the confusion of the people of like, what's going on? Why is this happening? But
see, the hurt and the confusion. Well, wait a minute. We're not going to be confused. We know why it's going to be happening. We're not going to be confused, man. So you can't tell me that woman didn't receive a vision. She received a vision, all right. But we're not going to be confused. We know exactly why it's happening. Because Yahweh Shem Yahushua have given us the reason why it happens why it's happening according to Scripture. Let me show you. 1 Thessalonians, the 5th chapter. I'll start at the 4th verse. Well, let me start the 3rd verse. For when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them, as travail upon a woman with child. Remember what we read in Jeremiah. And they shall not escape. But ye, brethren, that's talking about us, you brothers and you sisters that are into this knowledge, into this truth. Ye, brethren, are not in darkness, that day should overtake you as a thief. See? Ye are all the children of light. So we're not going to be of the crowd. Oh, why is this happening? What is going on? That ain't going to be us.
Yeah, wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of that time. When all hell breaks loose, people are not going to have answers. They're going to bug out. And we're going to praise the Most High, because this is, see, it's got to get worse before it gets worse. Then it gets better when the kingdom comes, when the destruction comes. The kingdom is going to come after Babylon the Great is utterly destroyed. And the land of the Jays. Palestine got to be destroyed, but Palestine going to be built back up. America's never going to be built back up.
Hell, we're going to marvel in it. We're going to be happy as hell. It says somewhere in Job, I think it says, at destruction, at famine and destruction, thou shalt laugh. Let me show you that. Thou shalt laugh. So you have to ask yourself, what kind of spirit the Lord is going to put on us to be able to do that, man? You know, what kind of stability are our minds going to have where we're able to laugh at destruction?
I believe that's Job 5, if I'm not mistaken.
Now let that roll around your head. Thou shalt laugh. Okay. Thou shalt laugh. Man, I can't wait, man. Oh man, I can't wait. I like that song by Phil Collins, In the Air Tonight, like it says in the lyrics. I've been waiting for this moment for all my life. Hold on. I can feel it coming in the air tonight. That's my attitude, man. And Yahweh Shem Yahushua, no, I'm not lying, man. That's my attitude. I meditated on it every day. Okay, maybe it's thou shalt laugh. Thou shalt laugh. Because I definitely want to show you that scripture. Here it is. Here it is right here. Told you it was in Job. Job, the 5th chapter, beginning at the 21st verse. This is a dark saying. Thou shalt be hid from the scourge of the tongue. See, we're going to be hid simply because we put our trust in this word. We're going to be protected. Neither shalt thou be afraid of destruction when it cometh. See? Why? Because we got this knowledge, we got this truth.
We're looking for it. The deliverance, the destruction got to come when the deliverance comes, but the mark of the beast got to come first. So let me give you these precepts that I've lined up, and then I'll get ready to close. So I entitled Flood of Troops. So we're going to go to Revelation 12, 15 to 16. Wait till it comes up. Right, we could be in the wilderness this time, next year, 2025. 2025 is really shit. We damn near November, and in less than 3 months. A little bit less than 3 months. Because you got all November, all December. That's 2 months. And then you got January 1st. So we're talking about 2.5 months. Shit. Two months and 10 days. And the election is 22. You got about 15 days. It says, and the serpent cast out his water, his mouth, water as a flood after the woman, that he might cause her, the her is talking about the Israelites, to be carried away of the flood. Now, what they used to teach, and you can still teach it that way. The flood is disinformation, misinformation. And you can't be the Israelites because the Jays are Israelites and the Jays are white people. But we can easily debunk that, because what about the Philistin Jews, which look just like us? The Most High likened us to the Ethiopians, meaning we look like the Ethiopians. You see an Ethiopian, they look just like Jake. I have cousins that are Ethiopians that look just like Jake, act just like Jake. So that's disinformation and misinformation. Matter of fact, you know what I'm going to do? Let me look some of these words up. But the flood is also talking about the troops coming in. The average lifespan of an empire is around 250 years. So America, 1776, they got here way before that, but 1776 to 2024, we're talking 1776, 18, 1976, 76, 86, 96, 2006, 2016, 2026. So we're talking almost 249 years. So this place is set to go. Okay, what did I say I was going to do? Misinformation. False or inaccurate information, especially that which is deliberately intended to deceive. Misinformation is incorrect or misleading information.
Here's the definition of misinformation: false or inaccurate information, especially that which is deliberately intended to deceive.
Now we're going to go to disinformation. Disinformation, false information, which is the same as misinformation. False information which is intended to mislead, especially propaganda issued by a government. We're not government. Issued by a government. The government is lying to you. the ragamuffin was propaganda. It was misinformation and disinformation. When we said anything in contrast to the misinformation or disinformation, they got us on a medical misinformation, whatever. Propaganda definition. Propaganda in its purest form is a lie. Propaganda, information, especially of a biased, one-sided, or misleading nature used to promote or publicize a particular political cause or point of view. So you have Kamala with her propaganda, and you have Trump with his propaganda. Propaganda is a communication that is primarily used to influence or persuade an audience to further an agenda, because now they're saying, oh, when Trump comes in, he's going to introduce the country to was it Project 2025? I think it is. Project 2025. Right. Project 2025 is a political initiative published by conservative think tank. We talked about that over the weekend. I asked the brothers, the men, what does it mean to brainstorm? And what does a think tank mean? When you get together, because 2 heads are better than 1, 20 heads are better than 2. Minds. The Heritage Foundation. So, you can go into that. What was I going to do? Let me go in the word think tank. When we do these videos, you got the... now this video is getting long. I told you I'm long-winded in the mornings. Think tank definition. Think tank, a body of experts providing advice and ideas on specific political or economic problems. You get a bunch of heads together and you talk it out. Brainstorm. Brainstorming.
Here's the definition of brainstorming: group discussion to produce ideas or solve problems.
Produce ideas or solve problems. This is the vocabulary section of this video. Okay, so now let me come back over here. So it says, and the serpent cast out of his mouth as a flood, misinformation, disinformation, but it was the armies, 70 AD. That's when we fled, 70 AD, right? After the woman represent Israel as a whole, the Israelites that were there, that he might cause her to be carried away of the flood. And the earth helped the woman, and the earth opened her mouth and swallowed up the flood, which the dragon cast out of his mouth. And that was 70 AD, when they sought to kill us. Let me read the 17th verse. And the dragon, which represents the beast of 2,000 years ago, was wroth with the woman, with the Israelites, and went to make war with the remnant of a seed. When the troops come, they come as a flood, which keep the commandments of the Most High and have the testimony of Yahweh Shai. And those are the real Christians. So yes, when you become a Christian, you begin the laws. It says, which keep the commandments of the Most High and have the testimony of Yahweh Shai HaMashiach. That's a real Christian. You begin to keep the law. You begin to keep the laws. In the beginning, the what was that called? The Jerusalem Council in the book of Acts 15. There was a controversy about whether you're supposed to be circumcised, whether you're going to be delivered to the kingdom. You're going to make it to the kingdom. If you're not going to go to the kingdom if you're not circumcised. So they had to have a council. Peter got with the heads, which was you had Peter, and you had Paul, and you had James. Because Paul went up to Jerusalem for this matter. And the question was about circumcision. So Peter said, no, you don't got to circumcise. But you can't commit adultery. I don't know if it was that one, but that's a no-no. Paul said that to the Corinth. You can't eat animals that die of itself, I believe, and you can't eat the blood. You got to drain the blood. So he didn't say you got to keep all the laws. And he said it was a yoke that was put on them by them wicked scribes and Pharisees. So let's come on back. So the flood represents army, but it also armies in 70 AD. Revelation 12 is talking about 70 AD, but it's also talking about misinformation and disinformation. That's a flood. They're flooding you with that. That's why you got Jakes. A lot of these blacks, these Jakes that's bringing you these different philosophies, a lot of them are set up. They're taught this to deceive the people. Black conscious community, the Moors, Islam, black Republicans, whatever. A lot of those Jakes were set up by the elite to deceive you. That's part of the flood. So 2nd Ezra 16 and 70. For there shall be in every place and in the next cities a great insurrection upon those that fear the Lord. Insurrection is a takeover from within. They will not regard their kings and princes. You know what I'm gonna do? Let me start from 67th verse. Behold, the Most High himself is a judge. Fear him, leave off your sins, and forget your iniquities, to meddle no more with them forever. So shall the Most High lead you forth and deliver you from all trouble, Jacob's trouble. For behold, the burning wrath of a great multitude is kindled over you, and they shall take away certain of you, and feed you, being idle, with things offered unto idols. Now we're all eating things offered unto idols because we don't know what we're eating. We don't know whether you go to the supermarket or the restaurant. So you're eating, the Apostle Paul spoke about being in the shambles. Don't question what God did they pray to. But if they tell you, I pray to this God, then don't eat it. So what people in the restaurant tell you that I pray to this God, this food that you're eating, I prayed to my God that it be blessed. So you walk around and leave the restaurant. So nobody says that. You order food, they give you food. And they that consent unto them shall be had in derision and in reproach and trodden underfoot. For there shall be in every place and in the next cities a great insurrection upon those that fear Yahweh. Insurrection is martial law too, because the military set up to fight against other nations. So when the U.S. military declares war or declares martial law, that means it's coming against the civilians of the people. So that's insurrection from within. It says they shall be like madmen, sparing none, not having any mercy, but still spoiling and destroying those that fear the Lord. Who fear the Lord? The ones of us that woke up, the elect. For they shall waste and take away their goods and cast them out of their houses. Because if you don't accept the charagma, the microchip, you can't have a car, because you got to register a car. You got to pay to get the car registered. You got to have a chip. You can't be in an apartment. You can't have a house. You can't have a cardboard box. It'll take that shit too. It will take everything. So that's when that faith kicks in, and Yahweh Shai is going to have to work miracles, man. Isaiah 65:9 on down. It said, my servants shall eat. So it's going to get hot. It's going to get hot out here. Then shall they know who are my chosen, who are the elect of Israel, and they shall be tried as a gold in the fire. So we're going to see who's real about this and who's not real about this. So you better be real. You better get ready to be locked up in prison. In some cases, 10 days, pursuant to Revelation 2 verse 10. Some of you better be ready to get your head chopped off or get executed. All right, Daniel 9:26. And after 62 weeks, Messiah shall be cut off. That's our Messiah, but not for himself and the people of the prince that shall come, shall destroy the city and the sanctuary. That's talking about Titus during 70 AD. And he went into the temple, the abomination that maketh desolate. That's what Yahweh Shai spoke about in Daniel. And what he did, he raided the treasury, and the end thereof shall be with a flood. A flood is a military coming in troops, overrun you, and unto the end of the war, desolations are determined. Desolations are determined by who? The ones that desolate, that enter into the temple and the treasury. And there's an honorary arch of Titus that his brother had built up, and that's still in Italy, in Rome today. I believe it's Rome, and as a tourist attraction. And they chiseled the fact that they went into the temple, and then they went into the treasury, and they were bringing all the gold, all the precious things out of the temple. So they robbed us, but this man's gonna get a break. Because he accepted Jesus. He asked Jesus to come into his heart. No, none of you are going to make it. Read Jeremiah 30, verse 16. Every one of them. 27 verse. And he shall confirm the covenant with many for 1 week. And in the midst of the week, he shall cause the sacrifice and the oblation to cease. Now, Christians say that's talking about the rapture. No, it ain't talking about the rapture. This already happened, by the way. And for the overspreading of abominations, they're the abomination that maketh desolate, he shall make it desolate, even until the consumption, and that determined shall be poured upon the desolate. So let me do this. Let me go to NLT, and then I might pull out some words in the Hebrew. The ruler will make a treaty with the people, the Israelites, for a period of one set of 7 years. But after half this time, he will put an end to the sacrifices and offerings that happened back then. And as a climax to all this terrible deeds, all his terrible deeds, he will set up a sacrilegious object. Now, Antiochus Epiphanes put a pig inside the Holy of Holies, into the temple, that causes desecration or desolation until the fate decree for this defile is finally poured out on him. So we were defiled. We were made to be defiled. The temple was made to be defiled. Let me come back here. Let me pull out some words. Got to go into them words. We're wordsmiths. And he confirmed the covenant with many, which is Israelites, for 1 week. Now this week represents 7 years. Sometimes a week could represent a year, or an actual week, actual 7 days. It represents 7 years. Caused the sacrifice and the oblation to cease. This is 70 AD. And for the overspreading of abominations. Let's look up the word abominations. Shakwa Watazah. Shakwa Watazah. Detestable thing or idol, abominable thing, abomination, idol, detested thing. Remember what Antiochus Epiphanes did? He put a pig in there, and he had him eating pig to defile them. And the ones that didn't want to die, they ate the pig. And during that time also, it was during the time of the Ptolemy dynasty. They had them and these other devils in the north. They had them worship Bacchus or Dionysus. I believe in Apocrypha as Bacchus, but he's also known as Dionysus. And that's the spirit of clubbing and partying. Hey, like Diddy, he's in the spirit of Dionysus or Bacchus. But they used to put ivy leaf. They would take a branding iron and put an ivy leaf on your arm. So it was the actual mark. So you're going to do that again. It's going to be a digital mark. He shall make desolate, desolate. Let's look up the word desolate. The word is shamam. To be desolate, be appalled, stunned, stupefied. So anyway, let's go to the next precept. Job 30, 12 to 16. I'm try to move quick now. Upon my right hand rise the youth, they push away my feet, and they rise up against me the ways of their destruction. That's Job really prophesying about what this man's going to do. It tells you that when you go up to the first verse, read down to the 5th verse on down to the 12th verse, it says that they went into the caves of the earth. That's talking about the Edomites. I believe they were called the wild man. I'm gonna look that up. It says they mar or destroy my path. They set forward my calamity. They have no helper. They need no helper. They came upon me as a wide breaking in of waters. Another word for that is what? Flood. In the desolation, they rolled themselves upon me. Terrors are turned upon me. When martial law is declared, that's the time of Jacob's trouble. And then Yahushua and the angels, Michael's going to be second in command, is going to have to come to deliver us. So we're going to be delivered, Daniel chapter 12 and 1. We're going to be delivered right in the midst of Jacob's trouble. They pursue my soul as the wind, and my welfare passes away as a cloud. If you don't get the chip, you don't get welfare. If you don't get the chip, you don't get Section 8. If you don't get the chip, you don't get EBT. You don't get food stamps. You don't get Social Security. And now my soul is poured out upon me. The days of affliction have taken hold on me. The days of affliction. And there's what is it saying, Hosea? The days of affliction is also a time of Jacob's trouble. What is that? Oh, I'm sorry, where am I going? Hosea. Hosea. I don't know why I put in Hosea 5. The title is The People's Apostasy Rebuke. Apostasy meaning you're against this. I will go and return to my place till they acknowledge their offense and seek my face. In their affliction, time of Jacob's trouble, they will seek me early. Let me see. Next precept. Isaiah 59 and 19, which Apostle Gabar had went through. But I had the list already up. I didn't know he was going to go into that. So shall they fear the name of Yahweh. Another thing that Nate goes off, he refuses he refuses to call on the true name of Yahweh and Yahweh Shai. And he's got his people trained to not call on Yahweh Bashem, Yahweh Shai. From the west, we're in the west, Acts chapter 1, verse 6 on down, and his glory from the rising of the sun, which is the east, when the enemy, in this case is talking about Esau, shall come in like a flood, the troops, civil war, the spirit of Yahweh shall lift up a standard against him. Let me read the 20th verse. And the Redeemer shall come to Zion. Zion is a people before it's a place. And unto them that turn from transgression in Jacob, saith Yahweh, as for me, this is my covenant. Ooh, wait a minute, covenant with them, saith Yahweh, my spirit that is upon thee, and my words which I have put in thy mouth shall not depart out of thy mouth, nor out of the mouth of thy seed. That's the new covenant. Because you can be in this truth and you have children and they ain't with it. So we ain't under the new covenant is going to apply to you and your children. Nor out of the mouth of thy seed, saith Yahweh, from henceforth and forever. So it says a covenant. What covenant is talking about? It's talking about the new covenant. And that new covenant is going to apply to your seed and your seed. So a guy says, "Oh, I'm under the new covenant." How many children you got? I got 5 children. How many of them are truth? Only one, my son. The rest of them, so guess what? You're not under the new covenant. Because if you were under the new covenant, your children will be under the new covenant. Your wife will be under the new covenant. Your mother and your father and your mother will be under the new covenant. Your neighbors will be under the new covenant. What does it say in Jeremiah 31 and also Hebrews 8? It says, and not too many words, you don't got to tell your neighbor to keep the law because they will all keep it from the least to the greatest, from the greatest to the least. So none of you are under the new covenant. Daniel 11:22. And with the arms of a flood shall they be overthrown before him, and shall be broken, also the prince of the covenant. Now, you got to do a lot of explaining to this. This, by the way, Daniel chapter 11 took place over 2,000 years ago. This prophecy or series of prophecies took place long before the Roman Empire came on the scene. But anyway, in a nutshell, I'll do this. This is talking about, you got to go into the history, which I'm not going to do. As soon as I can bring it up. Okay. This is during the time of a period of around 175 BCE, during the time of Antiochus, not Antiochus the Fourth, and during the time of Ptolemy Philometor. So you got to go into that history, which I'm not going to do. Ptolemy Philometor was known as the king of the south. And this particular Antiochus was considered the king of the north. You know what I'm going to do? Let me do this. Let me do this. So they were warring against each other. So when the troops came in, they came in as a flood, like a flood. Okay, so I guess this has to be Antiochus the Fourth Epiphanes, because he lived between 215 BCE and died in 164 BCE, before the Christian era. They said before the Common Era. Was the Seleucid king of the Hellenistic Syrian kingdom, who reigned. Okay, he reigned from 175 until his death. So he reigned for 9 years, and the Most High put him to death. As a ruler, he was best known for his encouragement of Greek culture. He was pushing it on the people and institutions. His attempts to suppress the Israelites brought on the wars of the Maccabees. So when you come back over here, this is talking about during Ptolemy Philometor and Antiochus Epiphanes. And like I said, say it again, Daniel chapter 11, you can't say, oh, this is talking about the Antichrist. No. Daniel chapter 11 took place already. Daniel chapter 9 took place already. Daniel chapter 8 took place already. You got Bishop Nate saying, oh, Daniel chapter 8 is talking about something. No, Daniel chapter 8 took place already. Daniel 12:1. So this sister having a dream, that dream was not a dream, it was a vision. Daniel 12:1. Now this thing just froze up on me. It's talking about Jesus. No, it's not. It's talking about Michael, the great prince which stands for the children, and he's a prince. When you go back in the spiritual realm, you do not go to sleep. Your body goes in the grave, and it says you lay on beds, but you're conscious as to what you're doing because you're calling on the Most High. Captain Jazariak said, when you die, you just go to sleep. You just sleep. You just in a coma till the Most High wake your ass up. No, you're conscious in the spiritual realm. You go back into your angelic state. There's a body for you eternal in the heavens. 2 Corinthians chapter 5. It says, at that time shall Michael stand up, the great prince, because he's one of the princes. We are also princes. We are princes, angels and bodies that are called princes on the earth, and the angels in the spiritual realm, of course, obviously, are also known as princes. which standeth for the children or the sons of thy people, the Israelites, and there shall be a time of trouble. That's Jacob's trouble, such as never was since there was a nation, even to that same time. And at that time thy people shall be delivered, the elect shall be delivered, every one that shall be found written in the book. If you add to the book, Revelation 22, 18 and 19, add or take away, your name is going to be taken out of the blotted out of the book of life, the Lamb's book of life. Everyone that is found written in the book of life. Who's going to be found written in the book of life? The elect of Israel. And then Israel's going to come back through us. They're not going to burn it. Don't listen to Bishop Nathaniel. Oh, certain Israelites, you're going to burn in hell forever. That's the lake of fire. That's that oil. He had the dream that he had the oil taken away from him. The oil, he still ain't got the oil. He still ain't got the oil. You better hope that the Most High get him the oil. He ain't got the oil. And you got to read Matthew 25 in the NLT. Jeremiah 30 verse 7 speaks about the time, and actually mentions the time of Jacob's trouble. Daniel 12 and 11. This is, you can stump a Christian that's not really studied in the scriptures. Ask him about what did the Lord mean by the abomination of desolation spoken of in Daniel. What did that mean? I don't even think vocab knows that. Anyway, it says Daniel 12 and 11, and from the time that the daily sacrifice shall be taken away, and the abomination that maketh desolate stand up, there shall be 1,290 days. So what's that talking about? Talking about Antiochus Epiphanes? Nope. Try again. Matthew 24 verse 15. We got a couple more scriptures left. 2 more scriptures left after this one. Matthew 25, 4, verse 15. When ye therefore shall see the abomination of desolation spoken of by Daniel. Who was Daniel quoting? He was quoting Daniel in Daniel chapter 12. Had nothing to do with Antiochus Epiphanes. By Daniel the prophet, stand in the holy place, that was set during 70 AD. Whosoever readeth, let him understand. Then let be in Judea, flee into the mountains. And they fled 7 ways. The scriptures say, the Lord says that. This was talking about 70 AD. When you read Matthew's the 24th chapter, part of it is talking about what's getting ready to happen now, or is happening now. Because what's happening now was written in Matthew 24, this gospel shall be preached throughout the whole world. We're in the fulfillment of that. We're in the fulfillment of that. Let me do this. End of the world is talking about end of the rulership, Roman rulership. That's why when the Lord rose, they thought he was going to come back and set up a kingdom. He said, nope, you're going to have to go through a lot more things. Okay, what is this? Okay, 14 verse. Matthew 24 verse 14. And this gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in all the world for a witness unto all nations, and then shall the end come. And to the other nations, we're going to be a witness against them. Matthew chapter 10. I believe that's around the 17, 18 verse. In this gospel, which is good news, euangelion of the kingdom, basilia, A basilica is a building that supposed to mimic the kingdom of heaven. You have a thing called a liturgy. When you go to these churches and the priest comes in a certain order, that's called a liturgy. What they're doing is saying this is how this is how what goes on in heaven. What we're doing in this church with the holy music and all that, with the incense, this is what they do in heaven. It's called the liturgy. Look that up. Liturgy. Kingdom shall be preached. Now let me look at the word preach. Preach, published. Come on.
Strong's G 2784. Keruso. Keruso.
Now, that's in Latin. There's a word caruso, and I believe it means to sing. Right? It says preach, publish, proclaim, preach, preacher. To be a herald. Herald means prophet. To officiate as a herald. Herald means prophet. To proclaim after the manner of a herald, after the manner of a prophet, always with the suggestion of formality, gravity, and an authority which must be listened to and obeyed. So when we say this, and somebody comes with some other, no, you're going off on that, we stick to our guns because we're speaking with authority. When we teach you, we say, look, the MOTB is definitely coming. So I don't know what Bishop Nate is talking about. Babylon the Great is going to be utterly destroyed by fire, by missiles, by Russia, possibly China. If they have ICBM, any nation that has ICBM missiles, they're going to use it. They're going to use it on this place. So this place is going to be utterly destroyed. That's coming. But before that, or right when that happens, we're going to be beamed up. The elect will be beamed up. So three major prophecies got to come to pass. The micro-C-hip, the deliverance, and the destruction. And then the kingdom. And men and women fall off because they don't see it no more. Because you wasn't diligent and you wasn't of the elect. From the very beginning. Mark 13 and 14 says the same thing as Matthew 24 and 15. You know what? Let me do this. Caruso, meaning
Here's the definition of so to such a great extent.
Caruso.
According to Wikipedia, Caruso, formerly Caruso Affiliated Holdings, LLC, is one of the largest privately held real estate companies in the United States.
Okay. Caruso, meaning. Right, a song. Caruso is song. So the Greek is Kairuso, which goes back to the Latin, or then you had the Latin, which is song. It means song or to sing. So guess what? Aren't we singing the new song, Revelation 14? Anyway, with that, I'm going to say shalom. On to the next shalom.